Good afternoon, OBAP family. I'm Titus Sanders, Board Secretary, and I'm honored to welcome you to this timely and impactful session. Clear for Takeoff, building your personal brand in this digital age. In today's world, your story isn't just told by your logbook or your resume. It's told every day online. This session will help shape you with that story, with intention and authenticity, so your digital presence reflects the excellence that you bring to the skies. Now it's my absolute pleasure to introduce to you someone I've had the privilege of working with alongside for a very long time. A woman whose journey has inspired not only me, but countless others in this organization and in this country. Captain Anya Kearns is a force. From her first solo flight at the age of 17 to making history again and again as a captain, mentor, and entrepreneur, and leader. Anya's never stopped pushing boundaries. She's not just a pilot, she's a mentor, she's the co-founder of the Explore Aerospace program here at OBAP, and she's a fierce advocate for representation and inclusion. And if you know her like I do, she's gonna keep it real. She's gonna give you the tools that you can actually use and make sure you leave this session ready to level up. Please join me in welcoming my friend, my sister in work, Captain Anya Kearns.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Titus. I really appreciate it. He's so tall. I have to, get on one tippy toe to see him. Hey, everybody, how are we doing? Awesome. I love seeing all these beautiful faces. Man, today is a day that I'm never going to forget. This is actually the first time I'm doing a presentation like this, so hopefully you enjoy it, right? One of the great things that Titus talked about was just all of the things that I've been a part of here at OBAP and just all of the things I've accomplished thus far, but that did not exist without a brand. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm Captain Anya Kearns, and we're about to get clear for takeoff, okay? All right, awesome. So building your personal brand in the digital age, let's talk about that. So you all see that I'm a captain for Delta Airlines. How many of you all follow my page, Anya the Aviator? Okay. I love the fact that I see all of these hands, but how many of y'all knew me as Captain Anya Kearns before that? Okay, so I see quite a few hands as well. So we're going to talk about both of those brands and how those came to be. The interesting thing is Anya the Aviator and Captain Anya Kearns are now intertwined. Do y'all notice that? You can't really see one without the other nowadays. And so that actually was unintentional. The way that I built my brand was not supposed to happen this way. Anybody remember the thing called COVID? Anybody else's life changed right after COVID? Drastically? Yeah, so that happened to me too. I ended up moving to Hawaii, so it was way farther from Atlanta than I expected, right? And that means I was away from friends, I was away from family, and my whole world stopped. So I was not able to fly. I wasn't able to volunteer the way I used to. I wasn't able to show up for OBAP the way that I used to. I used to go into schools and talk to kids and try and inspire them to hopefully be pilots or just do whatever that they loved and was necessary to go ahead and go out there and make it, right? But all of that stopped because COVID said, no, we're not letting you into schools. No, you can't hang out with your friends. No, there's no OBAP conference. No, there's no going to go fly people anywhere. Nobody was traveling. My life was so quiet, almost quiet as you all are right now. And anybody that knows me knows my life is never this quiet, ever. And so when that happened, it started to make me reflect. And I was like, man, this quiet is kind of nice. And I got to sit in that quiet. I got to sit in Hawaii. I got to see how it felt to just be me and be by myself. And I got used to it. Not to say I don't miss mentoring, I don't miss going out to schools, but it started to make me realize there's a lot that I was missing out on, and that was myself. So I tried to figure out how can I still live and do a purpose in this life and still mentor and inspire people without having to go out and hit the streets, without having to take my time, without having to go and do something every single day. Do y'all know how many days we get off as a pilot average? Anybody? What do you think? Okay, 12 to 13, that's a great answer. Anybody else? You got a uniform on, you can't answer. Anybody else want to guess? Yes. Like 15. You can get about 13 to 18 days off a month. That's more than most, right? Most careers. However, those days don't feel like full days because you are finally home. So I'm sitting here ripping and running from OBAP to school to being a lead mentor to holding 2 board of director positions. I didn't have a lot of time for myself. So when I got back home after COVID, I say pre and post COVID, that's how we track time now, right? So after COVID, when I got back home, Delta actually asked me to do a video. They were like, hey, are you willing to do a video for Instagram? I was like, sure. I hadn't even had an Instagram account until 2021. And I was like, well, I had an Instagram account before, sorry, let me correct that. But I deactivated it for years. People used to say, you're the most seen person on social media that does not have a social media account. And I was like, wow, I wonder how that is, because I was out in the streets, because I was seeing people, because I was networking. But I did this video and I was like, wow, that was a lot of fun. And I've always had interest in video and photography. I've always had cameras. I've always had all of those things. I'm just a little bit like, just like I'm a little bit of a nerd with planes, I was like that with cameras, right? So I had this experience and it was so fun. And I was like, maybe I can do this. Maybe this is part of my purpose. So I started looking more into social media, and that's when I restarted my account. Now, the overload of being a volunteer, a mentor, and everything else made me take a pivot to digital. Do you think I can reach this amount of people in a school, right? I could talk about this amount of people in a school, right? How many people do you think I could reach online? A lot more, right? So instead of maybe talking to a few of y'all in this room that's hearing what I have to say and delivering it, imagine if everybody in this room is impacted because your number is increased, right? So I said, let me do a digital pivot and let me use content as a multiplier. And that's exactly what I did. So what is a brand? Let's talk about this. Anybody can give me a definition. There's plenty of definitions on what a brand is. Can someone give me a definition of a brand? Anybody? Nobody knows? Yes. An image. What people associate with the product. Okay, so a label that represents a company. Yes. A platform. Identity. Okay, so let's look at some brands, right? Now this is gonna require your phones. Everybody got a phone in here? Okay, so everybody pull your phone out. And we're gonna scan this QR code and you're gonna answer this question for me, okay? Can someone press start for me on there? Does anybody know this? Go ahead and put it into the app or into the web browser. Okay. Got a couple people, about Starbs brand, Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, Starbies. Okay. So next brand. Anybody know what this one is? See a lot of people responding, Mercedes, Benz, Benzie, Benzo. All right. So what is this next one? Nike. Just do it, LeBron James. This is awesome. Nike swoosh, okay. My J's. And then speaking of J's, anybody know what this is? And we got one more. I want to make sure I reach everybody in here. Okay, the GOAT, Jordan, Air Jordan, LeBron. Okay, LeBron, my GOAT. Y'all type fast, Lord Jesus. Okay. And then last one. All right, so Chanel, somebody said Gucci, Cocoa Puffs. Y'all are hilarious. But the funny thing is about all of this is all of these brands, you all put some things in here that were more than just the name of the company, right? Y'all associated with someone was like, oh, you know, Jordan the GOAT, all of these different things, right? What if I told you I had an item of each of these here to give away to you guys? Anybody want that? Raise your hand. Anybody want that? I don't think y'all want it. Do y'all want it? Okay. All right, so think about that feeling you have right now. And think about that brand that has you excited right now, right? Did that give you a feeling? Did it make you excited? Did it make you wanted? Did it make you happy? And I don't know which one of these it is, right? But you all had some kind of excitement in relation to literally a picture. Did y'all notice that none of these has the name of the brand on there? None of them have the name, but you all knew what they were, right? And they all made you feel something. So brands are more than an aesthetic, and no, I don't have any of this stuff for you. But this is my point. Brands are more than an aesthetic, and that's what today is about. Building a brand is it's a sustainable personal brand that works even when you're not in the room. So I didn't have any of that stuff on stage, right? But you all felt something, and that feeling is what people get when they think of you. So do you think that's important at a place like the conference right now, right? You're even showing your brand right now. So we're going to talk about how to build this brand. Your name, your story, your brand. Whether you know it or not, you have one. Like I said before, who knew me before I was Anya the Aviator online? Quite a few people. When you thought about my name then, did it give you a feeling? Yeah. When you think of it now, does it give you a feeling? Yeah. So regardless, you have a brand. You don't have to have a social media presence. You don't have to have followers. You don't have to be online making videos, spending all your time, because trust and believe, the videos do take time. And it's a lot of work. You are building your brand right now. And I did a lot more of my work in who I was as a person way before I even knew I was doing it. So we're going to focus today to make sure that you all are actually purposely building your brand instead of unintentionally. So let's go ahead and work through a couple things. I want you to start thinking about these things because we are going to put them on the screen, again, with the QR code. If you can't tell, that QR code is on every slide, but you don't have to scan it every time. You can just go to the next question, and it'll be on there. So what is your current story? Think about two titles about yourself. Do you do sports? Are you a brother? Are you a sister? Are you a pilot? Are you a mechanic? Are you a student? Think about two titles that you can associate with yourself, and you're gonna put these on the screen in a minute. And I understand some of y'all are in college, but y'all do understand that this is a day I could be making money somewhere else, right? So let's not play with my money-making days, all right? Okay, so think of two serious titles about yourself, and we're gonna put that on the screen in a minute. What do people ask you for help with? Do they ask you for help with, I don't know, I hate to say taxes, but that's what's on my mind right now. But do they ask you for help with their hair? Do they ask you for help with getting your hair cut? Thinking about design. People ask me all the time for help designing their homes or fashion or style or curls, whatever else. Think about something that's unique to you that people call you for. What do they text you for? What do they ask you about? Is it video games? What is it? And then think about what have you overcome that some people are still trying to figure out. Everybody in here should have overcome high school, right? Yeah. So there is somebody still trying to figure out how to overcome high school. There's somebody still trying to figure out how to overcome driving. Maybe you have a motorcycle. Maybe you have things of that nature. Think about something that you've overcome that somebody else needs to still try and figure out. What word do you want people to associate with your name? That's an important one. Because as much as I see all these wonderful faces in here, I can already think of a few names for y'all. And some of y'all are very pleasant. Some of y'all are very funny. Some of y'all are, having a great time and you walked in with a great smile on your face, so that's already something I'm associating with you, right? Some of you are quiet. So think of an adjective. Think of something that you want people to associate with your name. Who do you want to be when you walk into a room? Who do you think people see me as when I walk into a room? Some great words, right? So think about that. We're going to fill them out. So the first one, 2 titles about yourself. I think they have to hit start for that one. Okay, there we go. So it should have a couple things there for you to be able to enter those in, and they're going to come on the screen, and we're going to chat about them a little bit. Okay, Christian, son. These are a lot of really good ones. Awesome. And keep track of these. So pilot, leader, first generation pilot, photographer, uncle, big brother, artist. And you'll see how we put all of these together in a certain point. So these are awesome. 139 people have commented so far. This is great. So the next one. What do people ask you for help with? What's that unique thing that somebody asks you for help with all the time? Look in your text messages if you need to. Cooking, music, studying. People ask me about those too. Learning, cameras, makeup, getting their next rating. People ask me that question all the time. Music choice, college advice, emotional support. Oh yeah, these are amazing. Nails, I need help with that. Awesome. Next question. What have you overcome? This is a big one. What have you overcome that somebody else might still be struggling with? Life. Okay, self-confidence. Surprisingly, I had to overcome that as well. Me standing on this stage with you, I would have been shaking 10 years ago. Adversity, grief, anger, bullies, injuries, breakups. These are, look at all of these answers. These are some amazing answers because everybody needs this help with any of that. Oops, I went too far. Okay. What is the word you want people to associate with your name? LeBron. Leader. A word I can't say on stage. A boss. Inspiration, overcomer, greatness, strength, trailblazer, favored. It's amazing. These are some really powerful words because the word that you want people to associate you with your name, that's how you need to enter a room. That's the brand that you need to lead with. All right, awesome. So the courage. Do y'all think it's easy to be seen? Y'all think it's easy to put yourself out there? Y'all think it's easy for me to stand on this stage right now? And how much prep it took me mentally and everything else to come on this stage? Some of y'all saw it. It's not easy. It's not easy to put yourself out there, especially online. It's not an easy thing to do. And a lot of times we have to figure out why we're doing it, right? I call it using your brand as resistance. Because a lot of spaces that we are in, whether that's walking through the street, it doesn't matter who I'm talking to in here. Somebody doesn't want us in that space. Somebody wants us to sit here and just exist or coexist or be there just because it's like, oh, you're there. They don't want you to be loud about it. They don't want you to be proud about it. They don't want you to inspire other people to be in that same room. Like, how dare you? So use your brand as resistance. Use your brand as an art form to say, hey, I'm here. I show up like me every single day, and I'm gonna constantly do that. I remember this one time, I had to make space for myself. And I say that because you would think, I think you would think, but people that are eager and young and smart and accomplished, you would think that everybody would want you on their team, right? That's what I thought. But I still have to go through things where it's like, you know what? I have a resume that's 3 pages long, huge resume. And I submit that saying, hey, I want to be part of your team. And then I come to find out that there's somebody, a specific person, that's blocking me from any opportunity that I have just because they have a problem with my brand. They have a problem with how I show up. They don't have a problem with me. They don't even know me. It's what they think in their mind. So I use my brand as a resistance. I say, you know what? Cool. You don't want me to provide these opportunities to me? I'm going to make my own. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm standing in front of you. That's why I created my websites. That's why I created my mentorship course. That's why I created all of those things, because using your brand as resistance is one of the best and most powerful things you can do. Create your own space, okay? Being the few can be lonely, but it can also be iconic. I see my sister over there, Miss Nia. Hi, Captain, over there. I say few, but it's lonely, but you know it's iconic. So being the few can be lonely, but can also be iconic. Find your people. Your people are sitting here with you. Anybody can be your people. Anybody that's going to push you and motivate you and encourage you. It might only be a few people in a room, and that's why we say it might be lonely, but it can be iconic because of the fact it's a few of you. You're already getting watched. I remember I was like, you know what? Oh, I got to tell y'all about my first time ever wearing that Endeavor uniform. That was interesting, okay? Because I had on black. Anybody know what the Endeavor uniform looks like? Yeah, a couple of y'all. So I had on black. It's very similar to the Delta uniform. And at the time, it didn't have gold buttons, but it had gold stripes, had gold on the hat, had gold everywhere. And I remember walking into the airport, and I just felt so exposed. I felt very exposed. I was like, wow, I'm shiny. I got gold everywhere. This is weird. And like I said, I wasn't always this person that could stand on this stage. I was very shy in high school. I know it's hard for people to believe that. I had my little friends, in high school. Got a high school friend right here. And, you kind of develop over time. You figure out your groove. You figure out where you belong. You figure out the person you want to be, and you move towards that person, right? And I think all of us have to figure that out. But the courage to be able to show people throughout that process is huge, right? So I'm walking in the airport, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna act like I belong in this gold, because it feels like a lot. And I remember the faces of people looking at me as I walked through. And I was like, this is really strange. But I'm going to continue to my gate, right? And then all of a sudden, those faces turning and looking at me started being like, hey, can we take a picture? And I was like, I guess so. And I remember back then, I don't know if y'all still do this, but every selfie that was taken of me, I was like, can I see it? I don't know if I like that picture. Can I see it? Can I see it first? Now I take pictures every day. I don't even ask, because it's different when you realize that people are always watching you. People are always going to have some kind of expectation of you. So either you can step out and say, you know what, I'm really just not comfortable with it. I don't want anything to do with it. That's fine. Or you can lean in. And when you lean in, your whole world opens up in a different way. But it's a challenge, because it is scary. You don't know what it's going to look like. I get people walking up to me all the time. I say this as a joke sometimes, that I think I should have changed my name from Anya the Aviator, because I can't tell who actually knows me and who doesn't. People just say Anya, and I'm like, hi, it's good to see you. Oh, I just met you for the first time, my bad. So the courage to be seen, the courage to be vulnerable can be lonely, but you got to lead with your full self. You have to be, like, I love your hair. Like, I just wish I could do that. Leading with your full self not only inspires people to continue to lean in. Like, y'all all have these amazing braids. I'm talking mainly to the women here. I'm sorry, because I can't relate to you guys with your haircut. But this is what I notice when I see our beautiful ladies in the audience right now. I'm looking at the different hairstyles. I'm looking at the fact that you guys have, your great cuts, your fades, all of that stuff. I don't know how to do that. And all of you look amazing, right? But lean in with who you are. Don't try and be something else. Another little tiny story here. I remember the first time I became a captain at Endeavor Air. And I said the first time I became a captain because became a captain a few times after that, which is weird. But anyway, it's the first time I became a captain. And I remember sitting there like, okay, I gotta be super serious. They awarded me this captain position. Captains are serious. I have to be very strict. I gotta be serious. I gotta make sure I'm always on. I gotta make sure my crew is always on. Everything is on me. Does anybody else know that feeling of feeling like you gotta be a certain way to fit in the mold of anything else? So I thought that's what I had to do. But then I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this. Go into training, go past the check ride. All right, cool. Now I go into the airport. Training in a simulator and doing it in real life are two totally different things. Because one of the things that probably every captain in here that's been a captain will tell you, that your job isn't just flying that airplane. You're managing people, operation, timing, making decisions, all that stuff. I tried to do that faking being somebody else. That does not work well. I'm gonna tell you right now, it works horribly because you start distracting yourself trying to be somebody else, trying to think like somebody else, trying to think and pretend that you're gonna be just like them and make the decisions they make, but they don't have the experiences you do. And that's what makes you unique, and that's what makes you the best captain. That's what makes you the best pilot. That's what makes you the best mechanic. That's what makes you the best you. So you need to lead with fully you. Do you think that most of y'all would follow me if I wasn't genuinely who I am right now? No, you wouldn't care about it. You'd be like, oh, this person I don't know her. She doesn't seem cool. So hopefully who y'all meet right now is exactly who you see online, because that's what I always am 100% of the time. But lead with your full self. Don't ever show up as anybody else, because you never know who you're making space for. Every time you show up as you, someone else breathes easier. It not only creates space for somebody else, but it shows them, hey, I can be silly. I can be goofy. I can wear red lipstick. I can change my hair up. I can be vulnerable. I can, gain weight, lose weight, do whatever. I can have a dog. Most people think I can't be single and have a dog. And I'm able to show, like, yes, you can, and there's ways around it. So you never know what you're making space for and making people breathe easier through. So with that being said, I can never say this word right. I don't know why I put it in the slide. Authenticity is revolutionary. Authenticity is revolutionary. And I kept it in the slide, even though I can't say it very well, because it's true. It is revolutionary. Being yourself, especially in today's world. How many of y'all found yourself comparing people's lives and stuff to what you see online? A lot of people. I do. 100%. I'll be like, oh, that looks so nice. And I have to remind myself, like, oh, that might not be actually what it looks like. I think all of us do it. So authenticity is revolutionary. So I talked a little bit about my story about thinking I had to be a certain way, right? But I also thought I had to be perfect, polished, palatable, quiet, all of those things to be a professional. I thought I had to be like, oh, just say yes, just be in the room, just be happy, don't ask questions. If you're confused, just figure it out on your own. You don't need help to get to anywhere else. Does anybody else relate to any of these feelings or anything I'm talking about right now? Yeah? So I'm like, oh, I got this. It's fine. Let me just be the good little pilot and figure it out, or the good little student, or the good little mentee, and just not say anything. You don't get anywhere doing that. So we're going to talk about a little bit of our lies that we're telling ourselves and the truths that we're going to tell ourselves instead. So what I learned was when you're authentic, you're not just seen, you're remembered. Y'all gonna remember me today? Yeah? Because I'm me. You know? I'm me. And other people get to know a little bit more of me. And when you get to know more of me, you'll see me more silly. But I'm being me. So you'll be remembered when you're being yourself. Don't be anybody else. There's no point to. I used to think I had to be, told y'all a little bit of what I thought. Think of something for you guys. And we're going to put it on the screen again. I thought I had to be what to succeed? I thought I had to be serious. I thought I had to be boring. I thought I had to be a nerd. I thought I had to know everything. Whatever your word is, think about that. What did you think you had to be? And what do you know now that you can still be? What is one of your strengths that's going to help you lead? Because that's what you're going to lean into. So you used to think you had to be what? And now what do you realize you have to be to lead, or can be, or lean into to lead? But remember, you don't need permission to take up space. Take up all the space in the world. I would have never thought, like I said a few years ago, I'd be up here talking to y'all. Never thought it. But I decided to lean in instead of lean away and take up as much space as I want. And don't forget, your story has already earned you a seat at that table, in that room, wherever you are. Your story, I don't care about anybody else's story. Where you come from, what you have done, what you have experienced has earned you a seat at that table, sitting across from whoever you're talking to, at this conference, and everything else. And I'm telling you all this stuff because I need you all to get full up. I need your cup filled, because this is how you should enter a room as your brand. Nobody can see your brand, your true brand, with an empty cup. So we're working on your cup right now. And then we're going to build your story very shortly, okay? All right, cool. Your story has already earned you a seat. So let's go ahead and answer those questions. What did you think you need to be to succeed? Okay, y'all got these words that I don't understand. What's Riz? What's RZ? Or RZ? Coy, quiet, genius, perfect. Oh, these are great. Rich, serious, stern, humble, skinny, loud. Man, I relate to a lot of these. Whitewash, not human, alone, the first, the best. These are all amazing, because this is how you inner felt. Y'all realize why I didn't put names associated with these, right? So you all can see that you're not the only ones that have had these feelings before. This whole room, everybody that's answering right here is in this room right now. So if you've ever had any of these feelings, know that you're not alone. We all thought we had to be these things to succeed. Now what do you know you can be and still lead? What are you going to lean into? Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry. I think it said the same thing. I used to think well, we'll just put, I think the sentence is just wrong. But what do you know that you need to be now to succeed? My true self, fearless, imperfect, me, knowledgeable, unique, humble, secure, authentic, funny, true, honest. Are y'all putting the silly stuff up here? Because I'm like, I know y'all from Ace, and don't play with me. Okay. Some people in here I've known since they were like 8. Awesome, relatable, real, unapologetic, hard worker, amazing. Can you tell the difference between the last answers and these? Those last answers were strong, straightforward. The second answers were more broad. It could be adaptable to anybody, right? Like smart is linear, but being imperfect is broad, right? So think about how many ways you can lean into those words and lead with that. So the digital mirror, you versus you online. We're about to get into some stuff, y'all. Now, I don't know if you need to look at your own social media page or even just think about you as a brand. If you don't have social media, that's fine. I'm just talking about you as a brand, as a person, right? So if you want to look at yourself, think about who you're reflecting to other people, because it doesn't have to be digital. It could be the mirror that you think you're reflecting in and what you're showing other people. So you versus you online, or you versus you, period. Now think about your page. Think about what they're seeing. Would your dream mentor follow you based on this? Somebody tell me their dream mentor. Who is it? Y'all are the best. That's not what I thought. I was waiting to hear LeBron, because that person put LeBron on the thing 20 times. Anybody else have another dream mentor besides me? That's very sweet. Yes. Okay, awesome. Okay, I love him. He's awesome. Okay, everybody's got like pilot mentors. Yes. Teresa Claiborne, awesome. Awesome, yes. Trey Hawkins, okay, is that a basketball? Sports? He's a pilot? Okay. I don't know everybody's name, sorry. Yes. I can't think of her last name, but I think it's Joy Schwartzson. Yes, well, her name's Schweitzer. Okay. Yes. Joy. So think about all these people. Y'all said pilots, which I think is great. I'm over here like, oh, Michelle Obama. I don't know. I just think of, people outside of aviation a lot too. But I wanted y'all to think of these people because, maybe you're like, oh, well, why would that person follow me? Or why would that person pay attention? Why wouldn't they? And you have to ask yourself that question, because if you're like, oh, this person would not pay attention to me, they wouldn't really talk to me, they won't really listen to me, what about you do you feel like you're lying to yourself about, and what do you need to tell yourself the truth about? Because everybody y'all named, including, the billionaires of the world, they all could be paying attention to you. I was so surprised. And I'm talking to y'all, but I'm also talking to myself a lot of times, right? I was so surprised seeing Beyonce's mom, Tina Knowles. She reposted me. A couple actresses. I sent it to my mom. Angela Bassett, she responded to one of my posts. I was like, what? And I say that to say I was so shocked. But I also was like, but why am I so shocked? We're all people, right? So the sky, as most of us in here know, is not the limit. We're in it every day. So why would you ask yourself why those people would not see you? Why would they not pay attention? So you versus you online. Look at your profile. Look at what you're displaying to people. Would an airline recruiter be impressed or confused? That's huge. Would they be impressed or confused? Compared to the resume you put out there, compared to who you say you are and who you present yourself to be, am I confused or am I impressed? Are you showing more of what your resume is to back it up? And I say resume as in general, right? What have you accomplished versus who you're portraying yourself to be? Does this page reflect your hustle, your message, and your boundaries? I would like to say that all of these I answer personally very well, and I'm proud of myself. So think about that too. What's the one thing I want people to feel or know about me within 5 seconds? So if I met a couple of y'all in the audience when I was thinking I was hiding in a corner. Didn't really work. I think it's this outfit. But I met a couple of y'all in the audience. What do you think I thought about you within 5 seconds? Was it a positive thing? Was it I don't know thing? If you don't have an answer, maybe you should figure out how to present yourself the way you want to be seen within 5 seconds. That's your brand. That's important in a conference. That's important in networking. I was networking my tail off since I was 15 years old, especially in aviation. My wonderful mom right here, she wasn't in aviation. I needed help. I needed assistance. I needed to talk to people. We didn't come from a privileged household. Someone put on here rich. I didn't have money to do this. And Malcolm knows where I came from. I have another high school friend here. Well, I'm older than you, but you know what I mean. That knows where I came from in the sense of y'all seen the work, y'all seen the struggle, y'all seen the dedication. That is so big to me. Does it reflect your hustle, your message, and your boundaries? I'll never forget where I came from. I'll never forget my friends' stories. I'll never forget what's going on every single day outside of these walls. That's so important. And then what do I want people to feel about me? Now, this sometimes is a little bit hard because you cannot satisfy everybody, right? You just can't. That's the reality of it. So I hope that it's positive. What I push out is positive. What I always say is with the best intentions. You cannot control how other people think. You cannot control how other people feel. But if you're doing everything you can, that's what matters. So you versus you, online or in person. Now let's talk about social media a little bit more, right? Flying bold, not reckless. I've seen some things, okay? Seen some things on some people's social media accounts. Now granted, they might not be in the room. I don't think they are in the room. But just remember, what is your career? What is your goal? Where are you trying to go in life? And no matter what you look at, there's always guidelines, right? Like Instagram, internet, all of that has guidelines. They have restrictions. This conference has restrictions. You'll most likely get put out if you do X, Y, Z, right? Same thing with the FAA. Be very careful about what you're posting, what those recruiters are seeing, what your mentors are seeing, and what the FAA is seeing. Who's seen my day in the life videos? Okay, cool, thank you. Who has ever seen, without a shadow of a doubt, has ever seen me post from the flight deck while I'm flying? Yeah, it's very. So there's quite a few things that you're not able to do as not only an airline pilot, but a general aviation pilot too. I saw a person, won't say anything too specific about this person, but was doing a solo, and while they were taxiing, was recording while they were taxiing, and it literally shook me to the core. Because not only is that the wrong thing to be focused on your first solo, the second thing was it was very dangerous to be doing that. And you're distracted from what you're actually trying to do. So what are you doing your career for? Is it for popularity? I didn't know any of this was coming. I didn't even know how much I got paid when I started flying. I just wanted to fly. I knew it was a good career, and I wanted to fly airplanes. Call me unresearched. Again, I'm not the smartest cookie, okay? But at the end of the day, you can only get better. We all know that there's rules and regulations of what we can and cannot do. So make sure you choose your career over content, okay? There's some FOs that I've flown with that don't even know. Anybody saw me do those welcome on board announcements? Yeah, half the time my first officer's in the bathroom or doing a walk around, or it's an empty plane. I don't do things when it's critical. I do things when I'm caught up, we're sitting there chilling, or it's a turn, or the plane is sitting there for an hour, so I can like run through a few like pre-flight and shutdowns. Nothing critical. There's no maintenance stuff going on. There's no MELs I have to brief. It's just chill. So a lot of people that I fly with, it's not for them, it's for me. I'm a captain. Come on. I gotta be focused. There's a lot of people on that plane. That's what's important. For me, it's always God, family, job, everything else. So, thank you. So with that being said, if those three things don't check out, I'm not recording. If something's going on at work, something's going on at home, I'm not worried about content. I'm not worried about what's trending. I'm not worried about, I don't know if whoever saw my most recent post, the hashtag was Holy Airball, right? And they were talking about like, oh, I thought that you were a flight attendant. Well, I don't want to discredit my flight attendants. I really think my post out all the time because I also think about the people I work with. I'm like, I don't want to say like, oh, holy airball, like there's a problem with being a flight attendant. It's not. Flight attendant's a great career. There's nothing wrong with that. So I said, try again instead, right? You don't always have to follow the trends. It's not about a popularity contest. Do your own thing. Don't sit here and I wouldn't suggest you go and do something just because it's popular and then you end up insulting people in the process. Or you do something unsafe. Or you do something bad. Because guess what? You're not just a reflection of yourself, you're a reflection of other people behind you. One of the main reasons, I'm not joking, because I said this to my mom, I said this to everybody. One of the main reasons I stayed on social media through all the hate comments, through everything that's going on, is because of this generation right here. Because I wanted to make sure y'all could see you don't have to, and granted, I didn't know y'all were gonna watch, but I'm happy that you are, because my goal was to make sure that y'all saw ways to do content, ways to be professional, ways to be seen. If that's what you want to do, great. But there are ways you can do it and still get all of the things you want outside of it. And not have the headache, not have the frustration, not get in trouble, not be unsafe. Last thing you want to do is have something bad happen and it was recorded. So FAA and airlines do's and don'ts. I'm going to give you all a takeaway kit at the end of this. It's going to have all this information in it, including a whole page on do's and don'ts for the FAA, for general aviation, and airline pilots. Okay? And that also goes for like company pilots and stuff like that too. So it's a few like big things. There's other things as well. But just make sure you're checking those boxes every time you decide to create content, because it is one of the things about this career or this industry is that it has always felt like, someone's got the keys to the gate, right? They never get to show you things that's happening, or you don't get to see it. So that was another goal of mine, was to show people more. But be smart and be safe. That's really the end of it, right? Don't fly bold, fly bold, but don't fly reckless. Now, your brand is becoming real. And we talked about authenticity all the time, right? But people don't connect with perfection. A lot of y'all put perfection down, or, looking at those words of what we thought we needed to be, but they connect with the truth. Do y'all think I'm being honest with y'all today? Are y'all kind of connecting with me today? Yeah. Otherwise, you'd probably be doing something else if I wasn't telling you the truth, right? But I'm not being perfect. I'm just being me. I'm being genuine. So make sure that you're doing that. Being visible isn't just brave. It's vulnerable. I'm giving y'all every piece of me right now. And I was giving y'all parts of me before I even got here, because I had to make this presentation. And I make the takeaway kit. And make all of that stuff for you all, because I'm being vulnerable. I'm giving pieces of my knowledge. I'm giving pieces of that to you all. You can, in turn, do the same thing for other people. So being visible is not just brave, it's vulnerable. The hate is loud, y'all, especially online. Oh, my goodness. The hate is real. Y'all don't see it on my page because I delete it and I block. Do you know how long my block list is? It's starting to be a flex. I'm like, how long your block list? As soon as somebody says something bad or negative or whatever, I'm like, oh, they don't need to see my page. Block. You know how much power it is to be like, I don't care about that follow. I don't care about people coming to defend me in the comments so it can run my view count or whatever up. I'm like, nah, it's not worth it. The really ignorant ones, they're not on my page. Now, the ones I can't control is when people, of course, repost on other pages, right? But just make sure that you remember your impact is louder. I remember one post I had, I was so surprised I didn't have anything negative on there. Mainly because I blocked all the bad people. But I didn't have anything negative on there. Because that means that people were seeing my impact and seeing what I was doing for people, and that was better than saying something negative. And out of the hundreds of comments I might get, there might be only like, I want to say 10 to 15, maybe bad ones, but it's so loud. I hate to say that, but it is. It's like, why you had to hate on me like that? I was putting myself out there. It hurts. You know, I'm over here like, I'm just trying to say an announcement and inspire y'all, and y'all want to talk about how my makeup ain't blended. Like, I'm not a makeup artist, I'm a pilot, you know? But it's just like, dang, maybe I should start checking my makeup a little bit more. So it hurts because you're putting yourself out there, you're being vulnerable, you're doing these things, and people want to nitpick, and they want to take, and they want to grab, and that's another thing. People will try and take from you. The more you put yourself out there, they will try and take. You can only do your best. And that's accessibility and trust, right? Those are my boundaries. I stopped doing mentorship because I have so many mentees. Because when you become a mentee, it doesn't stop. How many licenses to become an airline pilot? Anybody want to answer that? 7 or 8, right? So if I meet you when you first do your first solo, how long am I your mentor? For life. For life. So every person that I pick up, I don't have the capacity to keep helping in the way that I used to. I want to have a life. I don't know, y'all know how old I am. You can check my page. I won't talk about that. But I want to have a life. I want to have kids. I want to do other things, right? So right now, I'm actually working on a way to still mentor, but that doesn't require me to be so present. And that's even taken a lot of time. So hopefully that'll come out this month, so stay tuned. And that's the only way that I'm able to give people accessibility to me. You have to create boundaries. You absolutely do, or you won't have any of you left. Just remember, though, with all that chaos, people that you don't know if you can trust them, you don't know if they want something from you, just remember why you're doing it and the will and what will you do with it. So why and will. And we're going to talk about that, and then you're going to be clear for takeoff after that. Are y'all ready for that? Yeah. So brand flight plan. Let's build your flight plan, because do y'all have a destination? Whether you know it or not, you have a destination. You're going to end up somewhere. So let's do one that's intentional, right? So building a brand that's grounded in your values and grounded in your why. Think about your values, think about your why. I want to be known for what? Think about this stuff. Of course, we're going to put it on the screen. Y'all know, right? Y'all know the rotation at this point. So I want to be known for what? The platforms I can show up or in are, and I say up on, as in like social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever, but maybe you don't want to be on social media. Maybe you want to be in more conference rooms or more networking events or something like that, or schools. Do you want to show up in schools? I want people, the people I want to reach me are who? So for me, it was originally for people that are like you all, that are interested in aviation, or people that don't even know that because they haven't seen someone that looks like me, that they can be a pilot. I wanted to inspire the masses, right? And say like, hey, aviation's for you too, let's go, right? Let's go. So who do you want to reach? And then you're gonna create this statement, and this is gonna get you to your destination. I share what kind of information on or in what area to reach this person to inspire them to do what? So we're going to answer these 3 questions, and then we're going to come up with that last statement. Now, I know y'all type fast, so this is going to go back real fast. I want to be known for. Whoever that is, y'all could better help somebody text faster because y'all type real fast. My faith, passion, inspiring, honesty, impact, barriers, hard work, authentic self, reliable source, being powerful, hardworking, determination, giving back, flying, honesty. So if these are things that you want to be known for, then who do you want to, I went too far. Can you start that one for me, please? What platforms are you going to show up or in on? To all the words that you just said, Instagram, TikTok, schools, life, love that, OBAP, in person, and neighborhoods, YouTube, all of them. All of them is hard, trust me, I'm trying. LinkedIn, airline social media, awesome. Sisters of the Skies. Yeah, think about before I did social media, like I said, I was very involved, or I didn't say it, Titus did. I was very involved in OBAP. Think of organizations that you can show up in more with. And then the last one, who are you showing up for? The people you want to reach are kids, everyone, the youth, younger generation, baddies, people who look like me, family, aspiring pilots, ACE students. I like the very specific answers. Luke Weathers Flight Academy, people that are hungry for knowledge, Black people, little siblings, fellow pilots. Love it. You can make impact in your own home. I love someone that said their younger siblings. So now this is your statement. This is your flight plan statement. That anytime you try and figure out like why you're doing something, you know how many times I ask myself, like, why am I doing this? Why do I have a clothing line? Why am I standing in front of y'all? Why did I just fly 5 hours? Why am I not picking up a trip? I think about my impact statement. I share blank, or I do blank, honor in these rooms to reach and inspire them to do what? If I knew who that was, oh no, they here. A lot of people love to do this kind of stuff online. It says a lot more about them than it does you, because I'm willing to have that conversation right now. The funny thing is, this is the last thing we're doing though. Huh. All right, I share myself in life to reach people and inspire them to be themselves. I share myself in schools to be their true selves. I love that. I share the gospel on Instagram to reach everyone and inspire them to be followers of Christ. I share my safe content on Instagram to reach and inspire them to be pilots with some sense. There's that. I share advice in schools to teach young people and inspire them to chase their dreams. These are beautiful. Just remember that. Anytime things get hard, things get frustrating, remember your statement, your flight plan. Purpose beyond presence, your impact. That's something that I did not realize. Start thinking about that now, y'all. You have an impact of connection. You can shift culture. You can open doors. You can create opportunity, and you can share knowledge. The tools that you have available to yourselves to make this happen, to create connection, there's chat rooms available, live chats. All of these things are free that you can make to create that connection to help with your flight plan to reach your destination. So purpose beyond presence. Just being seen is not enough, y'all. If you don't have purpose behind what you're doing, what are you doing? So figure out your purpose. I always have the same purpose, to inspire people, hopefully, by going into schools or whatever else. How I did it shifted, but the purpose was still there, and I'm still figuring out ways to shift and make that happen more often. So with that being said, let's keep flying forward together. And yeah, you got to salute. So before we go today, I do have your takeaway kit. I want to see if we could do maybe like I don't know if we can do a selfie in here. Y'all probably knew I was going to do something social media-y at some point. My phone is literally all the way over there. But Sorry? Yes, I will do that. So we're going to take a USSI, and then actually this session is open for another 30 minutes, but I was like, I cannot talk for that long. So if you have questions, it'll be on the next slide. If you scan this QR code, the very top one is the OBAP takeaway kit. So what y'all just saw on these slides, it's just a PDF full of information. It's on my website. Just click it. It's free. Feel free to look back at that. Feel free to revisit this conversation. All of the things I asked you is going to help you build your brand. Remember how you're showing up. The person that had all the funny things to say on the slides, I'm going to pray for you because, Lord Jesus, your brand needs some work. Anyways, the brand is your legacy. Do not forget that. How you show up in your rooms is important. I don't want to have my phone in my hand while I do that, but how you show up in rooms are important. The very next question that's going to be on the slide is, the next slide is going to be questions if you have any for me. And then I will leave this QR code up so you all can get all of the information. Thank you again. Let's take a selfie or a USSI. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Okay. I'm not going to be able to get everybody. Let me see. Okay. Ooh, my hair is, nobody told me my curls was gone. Okay, let's see. Ready? 1, 2, say OBAP. I love it. Hold on, I know what to do. Okay. 1, 2, say OBAP. Yes, awesome. All right, y'all keep flying together. The next slide, like I said, is questions. If I have any, feel free to walk up to the mic if you have any personal questions for me or whatever else. Otherwise, you all are dismissed, and I'll stay by to take questions or anything else.
So for those who have questions, raise your hand. We'll come to you.
I just wanted to say thank you for delivering such an excellent presentation. One of the things that I'm observing in this time is that a lot of people have, I see that a lot of people have issues with their identity. They don't know that it's okay to show up as themselves and their authentic selves. So I think that a presentation like this is very, very good, especially for a lot of the young people in the room. So I just wanted to say, it's not a question, but just thank you for taking the time to deliver something like this, which is so crucial.
Thank you for saying that. It's been my pleasure. Thank you.
When you come up, introduce yourself and then go with your question.
Hi, my name's Anna Mock, and thank you so much for giving the talk. I had a question regarding finding the balance with being yourself online and also being cautious of what you're putting out there, because I don't really know where that middle ground is.
That makes sense. It's actually one of the notes I had. So thank you for asking that question. So one thing I realized is people don't need to see everything for you to get your point across. So one of the things that I did too, for example, you don't see me flying in the sky during my videos, during my day in the lives and things like that, but I grab information from other resources. I grab, ATC Live so people can hear me talking. I grab the, what's it called, the track? Yes, flight, yeah. Sorry? FlightAware. So I go on FlightAware and I record that so people can see I'm going from destination to destination. So I just got creative of how to make that happen, but stay within the rules, But people don't have to see everything for you to get your point across. Okay?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yes, I think, is someone over here too? I'm confused. Okay. I think I'm gonna go like everybody over here, but we'll go with you first. Go ahead.
Hello, I'm Megan, and with everything you're doing, how do you manage to make time for each thing?
Whew, that is a hard one. I exhale because I just do my best, honestly. When it comes to how I make time, I prioritize using my calendar a lot. I also have a team of about 9 people that help me manage things that maybe might be too tedious for me to do or pay attention to. Some of them are interns. I don't know if people saw when I put the intern request out. I got a really big return, so I was really happy about that. But I just expanded my team because it is a lot. And back before I had businesses and I was just doing social media and working, it was still hard to do content in between and to edit. So I just do the best I can. That's why I don't make any promises online. I'm not like, oh, you're gonna get a post or a YouTube video every week. No, it's not happening. It's gonna happen when I'm able to. And if you're subscribed to my newsletter, it happens. It might be a random day in the month, but I do get it to you. So you just do the best you can. You're welcome. Yes.
How are you doing?
I'm good. It's good to see you.
Good to see you. My question was, how do you feel about like the Meta glasses, or would you prefer someone to record with like a GoPro that's mounted?
So I really love the convenience of the Meta glasses. That's what you have on right now too, yeah? No? Okay, I was like, I think I see. But I love the Meta glasses. They're very convenient to be hands-free. One thing I will say, I don't like it at night. It makes everything really grainy, or even in a darker atmosphere. Anything in bright spaces, airports is great because I get to be hands-free. But I don't like the quality other than that. Yeah, you just kind of got to record everything and just see what comes out the best. But I do like them, and they're not too expensive, so.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Sorry?
The use.
To use them in the plane and stuff? Oh, okay. So everything is FAA regs, right? So for us, it's airline. I don't know if it's the same at United, but between the pre-flight and the shutdown checklist, there is no recording. It doesn't matter if it's your glasses. It doesn't matter if it's your phone. Does not matter what it is. You are not supposed to be recording at that time. So what I personally do as a tactic, because again, I told y'all, people don't love to see where we're at, right? I might be recording like my pre-flight or like whatever else. As soon as that pre-flight check, before I call for it, I take the glasses off and I put them away. So people can never assume one thing or another if I'm recording or not. But recording for me, never happens in flight. Now for GA aviation, I would just stray away from doing taxi, takeoff, climb out, descent. Cruise and pre-flights are all fair game. But anything and I say that from more of a safety standpoint than versus what FAA tells you. Because you should be focused on flying, not, you know what I mean? Even though it's hands-free, it's still a distraction. You should be focused on getting off the ground, doing your ATC calls, writing down what you gotta do, and getting up in the air. But that's my personal take. Yeah, that's all I have for those.
Just
No
want to add
problem.
one
I hope
more
that
thing to
answered the
that.
question,
So,
though.
she talked about pre-flight, cruise, descent, right? The Meta glasses only record for a minute. So if you're showing more than 1 minute of video, right? Now, depends, right? Then you're clicking a lot. So that's not going to work.
Yeah. So it can be distracting.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey.
I'm a first officer, SkyWest.
Awesome.
Choice Lightfoot's my name. It's kind of piggybacking off of his question. Like I was going to ask directly about Delta's policy and what you know about the other mainline carriers, because for me, it's like I have this cognitive dissonance with social, because I'm like, all right, I could go on social, I could build a brand, I could blow it up, but it comes at a cost. Mm-hmm. Privacy is a little bit of that cost, even if you withhold some things. And so I'm just curious, what's your strategy for that? Because you talked a little bit about nothing between pre-flight and landing, but that's good. But what is Delta's policy specifically? And then like, how do you cope with, I guess, putting yourself out there and continuing to do it? Because I'll be honest, you probably work with some people who would love to see you fall and like eat shit.
Absolutely. And people online that I don't even work with, right? I'm not gonna say I don't get calls from the chief pilot's office. It happens. But I 100% keep myself clear. So it doesn't matter what they say, I'm abiding by the rules. And let's be real, Delta loves it. They love being able to reach a clientele that they might not normally be able to, right? This is something else I was gonna say in the slides. So when I said that you're gonna be seen, they're gonna see you anyway, one of the things that people in my class, and I'm sure you've heard this too, they're like, oh, my goal is for the chief pilot to never know my name. No matter if I was on social media or not, they're always going to know my name. Like, I don't have a choice. So do I create the narrative or do I let somebody else create it for me? So even before social media, I went to my chief pilot's office, shake everybody's hand. When I go into the chief pilot's office, they change out like almost every other year. I still walk in there and I say hi. Not because, oh, I feel like I need to, but because I would rather their first experience with me, that brand, be the smile that they see on my face right now, not when I'm in trouble. So their first experiences was gonna matter the most. So with that being said, my director of operations, I sit in there, if I like have a trip, I'll talk to him about some of the stuff that's going on. He's like, look, just keep staying within the lines. I had someone from the FAA actually reach out to Delta thinking that I was doing my boarding announcement in between pre-flight and shutdown. I said, that's not how I do it. So I can't specifically disclose our guidelines. That's something I can't do. But I know universally that, well, I think universally is what I just told you when it comes to regulations. Or company-specific information, but I hope I'm answering your question completely. I'm trying to, but it's not one answer. It's a fine balance in between, but I don't ever address it online because guess what? As soon as I be like, you know, somebody said so-and-so and so-and-so, they're gonna keep doing it, and they're gonna do it more because they realize it's bothering me, so I just don't talk about it.
If you have your uniform on, you need to run this picture by social media department.
Yeah.
Period. It's
So
like,
we have a strict policy with some things too. What I will recommend to, and I will say this, definitely be careful while you're in the regionals. Like I could have started social media back in the regionals. I actually did start a YouTube channel back when I got my first job at Cape Air, and my mentor told me to take it down. Now granted, the times were very different, but he told me to take it down, not because I was doing anything, I was just talking in my hotel room. But he was like, putting that kind of exposure to yourself could be a detriment more than it can help. And so I personally chose, there are Delta content creators that are first officers that I talk to all the time, and they get so much flack. And I feel like a lot of times it's easier for me because I am a captain and I can control when certain things are being done, you know what I mean? So I'm not saying don't do it, just be prepared that if you choose to do it now, what might come with that when it comes to frustrations or people maybe trying to come after you, things that you might not want to be concerned about right now in your career. Because the goal is the next one, right?
and that's why I appreciate the time, because it's like, that's exactly the way that I was seeing it as well. As I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for the eyes right now as a regional FO on probation. It's like, okay, why don't I get to the main line, get off probation, and then if you want to, you know, draw more attention, then at least you're a little bit more stable,
Remember
a little
the
bit more
purpose
comfortable.
statement that we built today? Think about different ways of how do I show up in, you can show up at OBAP, you can show up in other places.
Doesn't have to be online.
Exactly, it doesn't have to be online. And that's why I was like, I didn't want to just talk about social media branding, because you can do so much with just being present and being seen. Doesn't matter where that is. So just consider some other options and see if that fulfills you. And then, you know, when you have the freedom to do more, do more.
100%. Appreciate the insight. Thank
No
you.
problem. I'm like, so many people are here just to hear me talk. Hi.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. I'm Casey Cost, and I just wanted to ask, like, given everything you have going on, because I know you have a lot, how do you keep yourself to stay consistent with regards of posting on social media?
Consistent like in life or consistent with posting?
Consistent posting.
I don't. I don't consistently post. I'm probably not the best person to ask that question because I don't have a cadence. I want to create videos every Friday and I want to post 2 times a month, but a lot of times that doesn't happen. And sometimes I'll just see a random video. I'll be like, oh, this is cool. Like the flight attendant video I just did. I just put that together one morning because my sister sent it to me and she was like, I think this would be cool. But I have literally, I showed, I think it was you, Malcolm, I showed like I had 27 trips of content that I have not posted. And it's all organized, it just hasn't been done. But like I said, I just do my best. And the funny thing is, this is something that's really good to know. I'm happy that some of y'all are staying. No one notices. Like you just said, how do you post consistently? I'm like, I hadn't posted anything in a while, you know? So nobody really is paying attention to your cadence or how much you're posting that much. I notice when people post a whole lot, but I don't notice if they don't post in 2 months or 3 or something like
Would
that.
you attribute that to the quality of content when you do post, right? The quality matters more than the frequency.
I
if you're
agree.
delivering great content.
I agree, and thank you for thinking my content is great. But, yeah, I agree that if you are more intentional with what you are posting when you do post it, it's hard to do really good quality content a lot. Like, I have plenty of things that I could just do like one-offs here and there, but that's just not me. That's not my brand. That's not what I'm set out to do. I don't do a lot of things like that. So it just depends on what you want to do.
Is post different from story? Like when you post to your story versus on your page? Okay.
Yeah. So I do stories. I might disappear from stories for like a month. People are like, where have you been? And I'm like, sorry, I didn't know. But yeah, so. No problem, of course.
How you doing? My name is Jalen.
Hi,
I go to
Jalen.
Middle Georgia State.
Yeah.
And so I heard you went to Middle Georgia State, actually.
I did.
And I was asking, I wanted to ask a question about, I don't know if you experienced this when you went there, but sometimes it can feel like it's getting a little stagnant sometimes, like, for your flight training. And I was just wondering, like, some advice to, like, keep, like, on a straight line, like, you know, stay on point with all your training, on classes, too, and
Absolutely. I feel like I understand what you're asking, and I want to say that it's not specific to the school. I think probably several people in here probably can talk about how they felt stagnant at some point with flight training or how things are going. It's literally just the career. It's how things happen in this career. And, you know, I don't want to be like the time is going to pass, but I'm trying to remember all of the time, because there was a lot of times where I was like, it's just not going to work out, and my check ride got delayed, and there's weather, and then the plane, and then there's not enough instructors, and they put me on the bottom of the list, and I don't have any money. Like, all of those things happen. The biggest thing is to just keep going. Every hour counts. I don't care. I do care. But it's not too much of a concern if something gets postponed and you have to do another flight, because guess what? That flight hour is still going to your logbook. Like, granted, you wanted to get your license before that, but that's not what was intended to happen at that moment. You might learn something in that one lesson that you didn't realize you needed to know for the next check ride. So take your, I don't want to say take your time, but like enjoy your process, enjoy where you are, because it goes by like this. Yeah. Next thing you know, you'll be like, oh, okay, I'm an airline pilot, now what?
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, my name is Jayla. I'm a student at Middle Georgia State. And I was, like, in the aviation industry, things do move pretty fast, and like there's always a check ride or a written coming up or something. And sometimes it can be hard to like enjoy those accomplishments. Like, you don't really see it yourself and everybody else sees it. So I was just wondering, like, how do you like not burn yourself out, or like how do you enjoy those moments?
It is hard. Probably the most straightforward answer is to slow down in those moments. I talked about taking up space, right? Create space. Don't let anybody make you push past what you feel like doing. I think I've had pretty much a celebration for anything big that I wanted to celebrate. I think I went on my trip like 2 days after my captain upgrade party with Delta, but I was like, this is most likely gonna happen on this day, and this is what I want, and so I'm gonna figure out how to make that work. So just make sure that you prioritize your wins just as much as you prioritize your training, and it should work out pretty well. You'll feel more fulfilled in that moment, especially if you're just looking back at stuff like, oh, this is when this happened. You know, you definitely want to enjoy those moments. I had my mom come to like several of my check rides, and those were like memorable moments between me and her. But yeah, as I got into the airlines, I did like parties. There was like a lot of them that came to my captain upgrade party, so it's a lot of fun. You're welcome. Yes.
Hi, I'm Sydney Brown. I also go to Middle Georgia State University.
Middle Georgia showing up. Y'all saw my picture? somewhere? I don't know. Someone said there's a picture of me
I was a little
somewhere.
tardy, so I
Okay,
might
no,
have
you're
missed
good.
it.
What's up?
But I'm currently working on my instrument rating, and I'm also a hairstylist. I have a salon near the school.
Awesome.
So I'm making content for that, as well as I want to start making content for like showing my journey and flight training and everything like that. I was wondering how you keep a balance, or if you post like everything on the same page, like your lifestyle content. I know you have like your merchandise and things like that, everything that you do, mentorships and things like that. Should I post it all, keep it together, I guess I should say, or make everything separate for my separate lives? Because I feel like I live multiple lives and it's not all the same thing.
It all depends on what you feel like your capacity is. It's interesting because I just started talking about doing this. I'm thinking about doing a subscription to talk more about my personal life and what I go through like on a daily, and also like my travel, stuff like that, personal things of that nature. I already got it approved by Delta, all that stuff. But with that being said, I'm thinking of doing it because I can barely keep up with what I'm currently doing right now. So with that being said, I had 2 accounts at one point, and then at one point I said I can't maintain both of these accounts. This was back before I really like went harder on social media because I thought I needed to keep like my personal life separate from people I was inspiring. But what I chose to end up doing was stop posting things that wouldn't be acceptable if it was also on a Delta page, if that makes any sense. So with that being said, I would recommend doing 2 separate platforms just because just from the marketing standpoint of it, right, we're getting to kind of social media brain on my side, it might confuse people in sense of like, okay, when you look at a video, right, that you like, what's probably the first thing you do? You go to the person's page.
Yeah.
And then you look to see if there's other videos you like so that you can follow them, right? Well, if you have a hair video and it is really awesome, people are liking it and stuff like that, if you're really trying to engage with content and build clientele, they see an airplane for the next 5 videos, they're gonna be like, I'm confused. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I would think of it from that strategy. That's personally what I would do. And then once it feels like it's not sustainable, you know, you can always flock everybody to one page and kind of choose what you do more of.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yes.
I don't know much about social media, you guys, so I'm always asking these questions. Could she do something like, this is my hairdo that I'm wearing on this day to go flying? Something like merging them that way?
Yeah, but you're doing it for other people, right? So, or you could do like a day in the life and have where you did, you know, hair that afternoon or whatever else and merge it together that way. But I know that you're taking like more separate kind of content, but like, yeah, so, and that could be in a sense on both platforms so that you can start tying the people together. So great suggestion on that.
Cindy, just like Anya said, you have 2 different lives with 2 different audiences, right? So you want to make sure that you're engaging both audiences in their specific niche, right? Or you lose the audience because no one knows what it is you're trying to do. So doing 2, I probably think is better as well.
Titus has pages too, y'all. Titus Sanders here. He's got like 3 or 4.
Do you really?
He really does.
First, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your time and the information that you forwarded into myself and everyone else here. But the question that I had was, I'm in the commercial, working on my end of my commercial training. So I don't really do too much content just due to the regulations of my school.
Right.
But I thought once I graduated, got into flight instructing somewhere else, or maybe even at the regionals, whatever, I would start. But the question that I had was, what advice would you give to people who really just want to build their following up? Like, I feel like on TikTok, it's kind of easy to go up. I can post something random and it'll go viral. Like, I've gone viral on TikTok a couple times. But Instagram, I find to be harder to push your content out to the world unless you just have people shouting you out or promoting you or whatever. So what advice do you have for that?
I will absolutely answer that. I know that we're at the 30-minute mark of the questions. When is the next event?
5 o'clock is the scholarship gala.
Oh.
7 is the welcome to September.
And they got to set up in here for that? No, it's somewhere else. Okay. You'll be the last question, love, and then I'll be around. I'm here all weekend or week, whatever. I'm like, it's my weekend. Okay, so to answer your question, I do get asked how to go viral often. I really don't know. I think quality content is number one. So doing something that is clear. I've always looked at, I think quality content, switching up probably like I don't even have like a cadence. I kind of just like show what I want to see, but I kind of have a feeling when it's too long. So maybe every like, no more than 10 seconds, it should be a different frame. That's what I do in a lot of my videos because you have a minute to like target, you know, people's attention, and you want to show them as much as possible. Even if it's like, oh, airplane wing, oh, airplane wing, oh, engine, like just shifting perspectives and visuals are really big for people. When you're on like YouTube and stuff like that, it's very different. That clientele is very, very different on YouTube. They want more information. You're on YouTube because you're not doing short form, you're doing more long form. So be informative, give them something valuable out of that. But hashtags, I mean, it's like I will look at YouTube a lot on how like there's all these videos. It's Millie, I like her page a lot. It's Modern Millie is her name on YouTube. I really like her content, so I look at her page a lot. She teaches people how to like go viral and do different things. I always post in the morning. I tag pages that are like mine. I use hashtags. I won't say I always, sometimes I don't post in the morning. But that's usually when it gets the most traction, and then I try to use really good cameras. That's pretty much all I have with that.
And your hashtags need to be focused in the content that you're creating, that's being searched, that's also being shown on the For You page and on the Explore page, right? Because the algorithm wants to catch you and know what you actually are as a creator.
Yeah.
If you're creating videos that are a variety of things and have hashtags that are unrelated, it's gonna be hard for you to get caught into the algorithm, so you start showing up in the For You page for people that you don't know, because on Instagram, it's very difficult, like you said, versus TikTok, because you have to be able to show up on a For You page if people aren't following you already for you to get new followers. So you have to follow that, and you have to be very consistent, right? Unless you have that one big video that blows, but normally building that following comes at a long, slower pace versus just blowing up overnight, right?
Because Instagram is very much about like your page. If your page is not aligned, it doesn't know what to do. So I would agree with that. And then also tag pages. Like, for example, I always tag OBAP, I always tag Sisters of the Skies. I tag travel pages. I tag things about travel. If I'm doing, or about Black pilots. If I'm doing a different type of video, I tag, I don't know, Dogs USA. You know what I mean? Like, I tag the platforms that are tailored to me. Even some of those platforms, you have to be careful, because if you go to their page, it's about pilots, but it's not pilots that look like me. So what's the point of tagging them when they're never gonna share my content? Whereas like Black Travel Feed or whatever, they share me all the time. Even though they're doing traveling posts, they love seeing me as a pilot. So just find the collaborators that you connect with. Yeah, no problem.
Hey, Anya, thank you so much for everything you've done. Very unpopular with me. I actually didn't know you till you came on, but I followed you within 5 seconds.
Oh,
so,
well,
you know,
you didn't
that
have to do
counts.
that, but thank you.
And I just want to say, it's been so refreshing hearing you speak and hearing a bit of your story, hearing like the struggles that you had that actually sound very much like the ones I've had as well. It just humanizes the experience, because I think I just finished my CFI right now, and I'm just going to do double I and MEI, then I'm hopefully done with flying school, but I mean for now. But it's so easy to just get so stuck in like, this is going to be forever, I'm going to be stuck here for the rest of my life, it's not going anywhere, check rides, all these things. And hearing you talk like that was like, oh wait, that's normal. Like, okay, I can go through this and then I can still make it through, and I can still end up, you know, where you are and stuff like that. So that was really encouraging. Even like financially, you mentioned something like, oh, it was hard, not enough money. Like, that was me last year. I actually created an Instagram page, and I was actually able to raise a bit of money through that to pay for my flight training. So that was great. That's not even my question. My question, though, is
No problem.
is a bit personal, but because I've just been enjoying it so much. You mentioned your priorities are God, family, and flying, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Can you share a little bit about how your faith has helped you along this journey?
Absolutely.
Yes, please.
You know, I think my faith hasn't been completely like stable or linear. I've always believed in God, but the closest I have and the faith that I have now is completely different than I had 15 years ago, or even when I was starting this journey. I was 15 years old when I started. So there was a lot of things I couldn't figure out, especially in my faith at that time. But I think that the trust that I've had to put in God during COVID, especially, and realizing, like, that was probably like the hardest time for me to like see, because at least when I was, you know, in flight school and stuff like that, I knew where I wanted to go. So I had a vision, right? And that's why I was talking about like the purpose statement, the flight plan, having a vision of where you want to go, you can keep that in your forefront. I had a vision of where I wanted to go, but so I had something to always look forward to. I had got to Delta Airlines, which is my goal, and 3 days into training, they basically told us we had to go. So I felt very lost. I felt very like, I don't know what's gonna happen and what, you know, where I'm gonna be. So that was probably the most lost I felt ever. And I didn't know how I was gonna come on the other side of that. I wasn't making enough money. My house was, you know, in jeopardy of me losing that. I was no longer a captain at Endeavor. All of the things I was doing was gone. So with that being said, seeing how, and I still had faith, don't get me wrong, but to have faith and to be in the action of faith are two different things. And to see how things came to fruition on the other side of that, like literally, I came back to Atlanta, started sim training as a first officer with Delta. While I was in training, got awarded captain on the 737 at Delta. Like, never in my wildest dreams could have had that vision, but it's not your responsibility to have that vision, it's only God's. So you have to just like trust what's next. I'm not supposed to be here. Tell 2-year-old me, I'm not supposed to be on the stage, you know? So that's the best that I can tell you. Every time I try to like figure something out, or I'm like, you know what? I've gotten better, right, Mommy? Because you try to hold on to so much, you try to control so much, and you just can't. You just can't. You got to let things be, and it's all going to be okay, because you're not going to stop. You're not going to quit, and that's what matters. So just keep going, and it's going to be beautiful on the other side. You're welcome. No problem.
Okay, Captain.
Yes.
So my name is Megan O. I'm a
Yes,
flight
ma'am.
attendant with GoJet Airlines.
Okay.
I really don't want to waste anyone's time because I don't have a question. I just want to say you are amazing.
Thank
Your
you.
light is absolutely beautiful.
Thank
you. said something during your, isn't it right? She has it going on, and you're an awesome mom. You really are, because you birthed her. You know what I'm saying? And I admire the relationship that you two have, because my son, he's 13, he just expressed his interest in becoming a pilot.
Awesome.
And just seeing how your mom supported you, and we don't come from an aviation family, so thank you for the inspiration. I just want to tell you this, you had me cracking up. You were talking about, you know, I just do my best I can with what I got. That Mariah Carey reel, you know what I'm saying? It's real.
Seriously.
Your content is so original and so organic and so real. Nobody can tell that you don't post consistently at all, because it constantly is being recycled. Like you said, we always see you on Explore. Somebody's always sharing you. Nobody can tell. And I just want to tell you, keep shining.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll see you around, okay?
I'm like, I'm going to give y'all all hugs soon. I don't even know I'm still standing up here, but.
Hello, Anya. Hello, Mom. How are you? I just want to say hello from one Delta employee to another.
I'm like,
You are amazing. And I just want to say thank you for helping me through this whole 141 experience
Of course.
that I was going through. It's been one heck of a journey, but we're almost there. I did want to backtrack to the whole Ray-Ban Meta glasses thing, because I don't know if you heard, but, you know, we've kind of banned it now.
Well, yes, but for corporate.
For corporate, okay.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I wanted to ask
Yeah.
about, because I have a whole bunch of videos I recorded on there, but I was afraid to post it
To
just
post
in
it.
case.
Yeah, so definitely get clarity from your department. But if you read it, don't go, this is the other thing, don't go by like everybody else's propaganda. They're like, oh, we banned metal ribbons, whatever. If you read the actual document, it says that they don't want on the Delta campus with sensitive security information or whatever. But it was more about people with computers and showing certain documents and things like that while people were working. But as long as you're not, I think it said, you have to look at it, I'm sorry, but I'm like, I can't remember exactly, but as long as you're not like on a Delta campus with sensitive information, then you're fine. So like me in the terminal, me in the airplane with the door open, all of that is public, right? So now if the door was closed, the boarding door was closed, now it's a private atmosphere. I've never been able to show, I'm getting probably like too Delta specific, but never been able to show company material on the iPad. Like if you ever look at my YouTubes, it's always blurred out. So I've been very aware of that for a long time. So honestly, it didn't feel like anything new to me. I think it's just people are starting to wear them as fashion, and maybe some people are recording on campus. So I would read it some more. And like I said, I go straight to the horse's mouth. I said, hey, are we able to do this or no? And so they told me when you can and when you can't. And as long as you're in public areas, then yeah.
Okay, and one more quick question.
Yeah.
Before you post your videos, do you have a specific person that you send it to review before you post?
I used to.
Okay.
It's funny, I used to. I don't know if you know Jamar. No, Harrison? Okay. I used to send it because I love his videos all the time. And he's not like a social he should be. His stuff is amazing. But anytime I was like concerned, this was about a year or so ago, when my page started like kind of becoming, I won't say a monster, but it started growing a lot. And I thought it was already big and it just kept getting bigger. But I was like so concerned about like what I would say and what I would do and if it looked good. So I used to send it to him and I used to send it to my friend Jamie. Actually, her fiance is back there. So I used to send it to them too a lot and just kind of get their take on it because I value their opinion. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If that's something that you feel comfortable with. But eventually I stopped because I was just like, you know what? I like my page. And I just be scrolling and I'm like, I like my videos. So I watch my own page sometimes. You're welcome. Yes. And that's it. We got to go after this.
I just want to say thank you for sharing with us. And I had a quick question. When it comes to like the Delta policies, where do you go specifically? You don't have to say, kind of keep it generalized for the other airlines, but where do you go to find the rules and policies so you make sure you're not breaking any?
So pilot-wise, I don't know if we have any other airline pilots in here. Pilot-wise, you would go to like your FOM, and then you would go to your company's actual website to see if there is social media guidelines. That's like the words that I always look up is social media guidelines for like inside of the whatever company you're in's platform. But also going straight to the horse's mouth is always a great option as well, which is like chief pilot, what am I trying to think of? Oh gosh, we have a social media team. So I email them sometimes and get information just to make sure. Like, for example, the subscription page, I was like, well, that's paid. Am I able to do that? Because I have on uniform and on Instagram. And so I went to them to ask clarity on that.
At United, it's the FOM, and then we have a website called Flying Together for the employees, and that's where we have found it there, and I'm quite sure, I'm 100% positive American, JetBlue, Southwest have the same things.
So that's like our DeltaNet, for example. So.
Before we go, Anya gave you a lot of tools in the way of trying to build your brand. What I challenge you to do is, while you're out on the exhibit hall floor and you're doing your introductions, think about what brand of yourself you want to present to the person you're introducing yourself to. And you have 2.5 more days to work on that presentation, right? And I hope that some of you that I haven't met yet, you try it with me, right? And I get to see